Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today I'll be reacting to Prince appearing on the Tavis Smiley show. This is all the way back in 2004, so basically 21 years ago, which is crazy to me, but we're going to be checking this out. I believe the majority of his appearance on the show is in interview form, so we're going to get to hear Prince's opinions and takes on a lot of different things, I hope. And for me, it's super enjoyable just to get to learn the thoughts that go on in the mind of an amazing artist. And of course, Prince has said some profound things and is very thought-provoking in general. I've already gotten the pleasure to experience some of those beautiful thoughts of his, so I'm excited to hear more. And then at the end of the show, he'll do a little bit of a, I think, acoustic performance. Before we jump in, a massive thank you goes to Samantha, whose generous support made this reaction possible. Thank you so much. All right, let's check this out.
Good evening from Los Angeles. I'm Tavis Smiley. Tonight, Prince on PBS.
We start with acoustic. I'm okay with that. Oh, okay. The bait and switch with the preview. I was enjoying that. Tavis Smiley.
I have struggled for days trying to figure out how to introduce this guy, and here's the best I've come up with. Ready? The artist formerly known and now known once again as Prince. That's the best I can come up with.
Lord have mercy. That's it, huh?
Wait, I don't get it. Formerly known? That's a joke that went over my head.
As Prince. That's the best I can come up with.
Lord have mercy. That's it, huh?
That's all I can come up with.
All right.
Because otherwise it would have taken me 20 minutes. It would have taken me the whole show to introduce you because you are so phenomenal. So thanks for coming to see me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Let me start with this Grammy thing. First of all, you rocked the Grammys.
Yeah.
That was an amazing performance. Did you enjoy it?
Loved it. Loved it. Yeah.
I was scared when I heard that you were going to do this thing with Beyonce. And I was scared, as I told you, because you were such all that by yourself. I was afraid that it wasn't going to come off right. Even though I love Beyonce, she's very talented. I was just afraid that Prince can't do nothing with nobody else. He got to do his thing because he's Prince. But it came off okay.
Don't put Prince in a box.
I pride myself in working with great musicians, and I consider her to be as such. She's amazing talent. She's a real deal. So she just fell right into it. There was no problem whatsoever.
How did that performance come about? I mean, you decided to do whatever you want to do on your own terms, but how did that actually come to be?
Well, the producer, Ken Ehrlich, had been hounding me every year to do something. And this year we have a new record coming out, so and a tour scheduled. So I thought if this was going to be the year, then I wanted to do something special. Then the notion of working with Beyonce came about, and that made it extra special because I'm such a fan. So, you know.
Yeah, that's nice for Prince to be a fan of your stuff.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I am very enamored with his just very calm, cool, collected demeanor. He's not doing too much. He's not like overplaying his hand. You know, I see this in a lot of, you know, let's use an example. Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, a lot of Jimmys run these late night talk shows. But in these kind of interviews, oftentimes the interviewer is like doing too much and it feels fake, which it is a bit of a show, right? So you want to engage your audience. And then the artist or whoever's being interviewed, they're reciprocating and they're giving that energy back. But there's this air of this isn't actually real. Prince is being super authentic here. At least that's my perception.
Such a fan, so, you know.
Yeah, that's nice for Prince to be a fan of your stuff. Yeah. Speaking of being a fan, as you well know, and I can't even hide it, I'm a fan of your stuff. And I guess a couple weeks ago, I went to Vegas to see you, not in one show, but 2 shows. And you got to stop doing these things at 2 and 3 in the morning, because I can't stay up 2 days in a row.
But see, that's how I tell who's real and who ain't.
Am I authentic now?
Yeah, you are.
Am I real now?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
I'm glad to hear that, then. All right. So if I can stay up at 2 and 3 in the morning, it's just not to see you go off stage. I mean, coming on at 2 a.m., coming on
Wow.
at 3 a.m., and playing to 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. But
Do shows start that
I
late
still
now?
watch that audience in Vegas, Prince, and
Jesus.
there are 2 or 3 things that stand out to me about your audience in particular. One, you have the absolute most diverse audience of any artist, no pun intended, that I've ever hung out with or experienced in concert consistently. What is it about you or about your music? I mean, I've seen the black thing and the white thing, and the Motown thing had the black folk and the white folk listening, but you have the most ethnically, culturally, racially diverse audience, I think, of any artist on the scene. Why you?
I think from the beginning, as I was coming into my own persona and understanding of who I was, I never talked down to my audience.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't talk down to your audience, then they can grow with you.
Yes.
And
This is so true. And not to cut Prince off, but I believe this wholeheartedly. You are not any better than your audience. As a creator, as an artist, you are just sharing your experience with the world. And that's what content creation should be. Now, if you are a teacher or you do have knowledge and you create content, or your performances are there to instill knowledge, then it should all be done with the caveat that I am sharing what I know. And, there could be pushback and there could be questions about what I know, but I'm treating you as a human and not as somebody devoid of critical thinking. Give your audience the credit that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
and when you don't talk down to your audience, then they can grow with you.
Yes.
And I
Love
give
that.
them a lot of credit to be able to hang with me this long, because I've gone through a lot of changes. But they've allowed me to grow, and thus we can tackle some serious subjects and try to just be better human beings, all of
Yes.
us.
Perfect.
The other thing that strikes me about your audience that's uniquely different is that your audience is very musically sophisticated. It's one thing to love music. It's another thing to have an audience of fans that is really very sophisticated about music.
Yeah, a lot of the people that come see us now, their parents listen to real music, real songwriting, real musicianship, and they respect somebody who takes their craft seriously. And I grew up that way, so when we do our shows, I try to have the best musicians I can find with me at that particular time. And like I said, we don't play down to them. We don't, we're just not, it's just not about a party. That's going to be anyway if it's good music. But
Yes.
you have to challenge them. And
Yeah.
I think that's lacking in music today.
Yeah, that's so true. A lot of people dumb down their music because it could be simpler and easier to grasp for audiences, and then you have a wider reach, but then you lose the soul of what the music is meant to be. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a simple song, but if you're doing things for the sake of simplicity, for the sake of virality, rather than the meaning of the music itself, or just what the music itself is, you're kind of, what would be the phrase here? You lose connection with the art.
You have to challenge them, and I think that's lacking in music today.
You have changed, as you said a moment ago, and evolved in so many ways, and have gone through so many stages in your own career development. You said a moment ago that because of that, you like to do different things. It's very difficult oftentimes for a performer, for an artist, to hang on to his or her audience when they're not doing the stuff that they want to hear. And you have a certain, and I say this with all respect, there's a certain arrogance about you that will come out on stage, and these folks done paid their money, and they want to hear Little Red Corvette, they want to hear Delirious, they want to hear Purple Rain, 1999, everything else, but you come out and play what you want to play at that particular stage in your life. And for your true core fans, they don't ever leave disappointed.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't know who was the one that came up with the notion that you have to play the same songs every concert.
Probably fans.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Probably. Maybe.
most of the people that come see us now, they've been to see me umpteen times, and the only pity is when they bring their kids and they're trying to show their kids the experience they had. But I don't know how any of us grow if we just, tread water. The idea is that we keep growing, and
Yes. I totally agree.
like we were saying before, is the fan base I have now, they're so sophisticated, they almost expect me to do the unexpected. And that gives me a lot of room to challenge myself as well as them.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been dying.
I'm very glad that Prince made the conscious choice not to put himself in any box and just to be himself authentically all the time. He makes the decisions, and whether people enjoy them or not it's not that it's not his concern, but he's Prince and he wants to do what he wants to do. And because he's so talented, he has an immense wealth of musical knowledge and performance ability to make everything stand out and be a unique experience. So if you go from concert to concert to concert playing the exact same set list repeatedly, you're not playing each set the exact same way, even though it feels like you should. And because you don't have the same emotions you would carry even as a performer from night 1 to night 2 to night 3, why would playing the same songs make the most sense? Each song can invoke a new emotion or feeling. And if you want to use the songs as a tool for exploring your own humanity, your own emotions, your own connection to art, then let the set list be free flowing as well, and let the best performers make do the best performance for the best songs apt for that moment in time. I think a lot of people get lost in the weeds and they just want what they want. They want the instant gratification and to control everything. I don't think so. Prince is uncontrollable.
A lot of room to challenge myself as well as him.
One of the things I've been dying to ask you about is this notion of whether or not you think too many performers, too many artists have become too racy and become so willing to sell a record that they will do just about anything to make that record sell. And I want to ask you that question specifically because you are the king, the prince of raciness. Because back in the day, you were like,
oh my God, if you were to compare him to the artists of today, this is like the wrong person to be asking this question about. He is not racy compared to today's standards.
You were, I mean, I can't even call it pushing the envelope. You were really pushing the envelope back in the day. So what's your sense now of artists who've gotten in trouble of late, pushing the envelope and being extremely racy for much of the American audience?
Well, everything's relative. First of all, racy back when I was quote unquote racy,
Me
as
and
you
Prince
say.
right here.
I mean, it's pretty light now.
Got the mind
I mean, if you
connection.
take the words to Darling Nikki, which I got into a little bit of hot water about back in '84, if you take those lyrics and read them now, it's a little different than, say, the president of the RIAA reading the lyrics to one of these current hip-hop songs at a congressional hearing.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a lot different now. Anytime you have to rely on just raciness alone, you can only, put it this way, you're going to get the audience you deserve. All right?
Yes.
So when we were wearing more risque outfits, we had a bunch of
Risque fans.
That's right, in the audience.
Yeah.
Bunch of
and,
gooners.
When you're 21 years old, you're going to try stuff. When you're 40, you don't want to be pulling out body parts because it just it's old skin.
It's old skin,
so
yeah.
it's different.
Yeah.
Okay, I should have cautioned my earlier statement because I don't know what Prince was doing to be called risque. If he was pulling out old body parts, that is certainly risque. It reminds me a bit of, not to make this comparison, but I've only heard Marilyn Manson do things like that. No idea though.
You don't want to be showing all that then.
Yeah. But we live in a world now, we live in a culture where artists
We do live in a world.
media conglomerates sell us. I just reading an article the other day in the LA Times about this very issue, that we get sold all this hype. All this hype gets pushed on us, and they're really selling events that really turn out to be non-events oftentimes.
Well, once again, they will get the audience and the consumer that they deserve. I mean, there's a glut in the industry because of this thinking. You know, it's all bottom line. It's all real quick. The artist turnover rate is really fast, and there's not a lot of substance. You know, there's a lot of these kids don't know how to play music because they didn't learn it. They weren't taught the art and the craft of songwriting, and it is an art. And if you don't respect that, then you know we're going to get a lot of these non-events going on.
I'm glad, but more importantly, the people who get a chance to play and work with you, I'm sure are glad that over the years, speaking of playing instruments, that you got to be a little bit nicer and let somebody play on your record. Because when you first broke, all songs written, produced, performed, lead vocals, background vocals, everything on the album was done by you.
Yeah. Well, there again, it's a situation where, you know, where people, if they want me to go back and do what I used to do, they have to understand that it's my body of work, and I'm trying to put in that body of work things that I haven't done, so that when I finish and I look at all of it, it represents, you know, the whole complete pie, as opposed to the same thing over and over.
I love
Who's
that.
running the business?
He's like threading so much of his discography all together, and this is something that I consider as well. I brought this up last year in my previous reactions to Ren, I believe. And when it comes to artists, they should be able to draw from their own discography to create new novel works, even derivative off of what they've previously done, to fit an overall tapestry of art. Because a song in isolation is good and is powerful and has impact, but so does the entirety of an album. So does the entirety of an artist's discography, and you can see the evolution across time. And all of those songs in a big bundle together act as, I don't know, like dry wood for a massive flame that is Prince. It just makes so much sense to build the mountain. You just keep stacking, what would it be? Stacking proof, stacking evidence of your ability and your artistry.
You know, the whole complete pie, as opposed to the same thing over and over.
Who's running the business now? There's a big debate now with what just happened to L.A. Reid at Arista. Had more Grammy nominations on Grammy night than any other record label.
Right.
And they kicked him out of the building in New York with the quickness.
Right. Can I at least go to the Grammys and can I just...
Yeah, well, it was nice that Outkast brought him up on stage. I mean, that was nice. They gave him some love. But the question is, who's running the business now? Are the creatives running it? Are the suits running it? What's the state of the business these days?
Well, that changed a long time ago when it became merely bottom line.
Yeah, suits.
You'll see... If you go back and you look at music, you'll see a big change when MTV came into the business. Now, that's not to say that they're running it, but that sort of mentality is what is king now. It's not about content and substance. You know, hip-hop is very diverse, but if you only focus on one aspect of it, then what you get is this image of Black America that is completely contrary to what actually goes on. You know, I've never seen you in a jogging suit. You know, you fit and trim, but look at how you're dressed. The gatekeepers, they know who they are. We don't need to name names, but rest assured, they aren't musicians. They don't have anything to do with music. If you sit one of them in the room and you ask them, what is it that you do? How did you get this job? A lot of them came from law. A lot of them came from accounting and things like that. They're merchants, basically. And it's not to disrespect them or...
Dude, I love Prince so much. Everything he's saying is things that I deeply believe. I'm sure many of you also resonate with all of his words here.
Demean their role in any way, but at the same time, you can't expect them to know who they're signing and sort of gatekeep the music.
Let me change gears on you dramatically, because I've been dying to show this to you. I don't know if you've seen this or not. Maybe you have, but if you
change gears, like, see, this is why podcasting now, I think, is a positive rather than a negative, because instead of doing things like, even in this Tavis Smiley show, like quickly veering off of these really interesting topics to a new question, right? Which it could be another interesting question, but we never got the answer, or we never got to dive deeper into that discussion about the gatekeepers and how it influences and impacts Prince and other artists, and what should be done about it, and how can we recognize signs, and what can we do as a collective. Like, none of that discussion was had. We just move on to the next question. And now I'm just being very, what would you call it? Particular maybe, but that, I don't know. Is it like tactful that he switched away from that question in particular? You never know.
Let me change gears on you dramatically, because I've been dying to show this to you. I don't know if you've seen this or not. Maybe you have, but if you haven't, I want to show this to you. I went to see a movie the other day, and there was a clip in the movie that was absolutely hilarious, and I want you to see this, and I want to ask you something about it. Roll this clip for me.
With all the problems we got, black folks used to could say, at least we ain't crazy. Our crimes made sense. Ain't got no money, rob somebody with some money. Simple as that.
Hey, y'all don't want to admit it, but black folks just as crazy as white folks. Mike Tyson, he's like 3 crazy people, man.
Mike sure is.
Prince.
Hold on now. He had Cherokee or something. Don't put him in there with us.
Prince is half Cherokee. Don't put him in there with us. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Did you laugh at this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a dispute over who my grandfather was on my mother's side. So,
Right.
Yeah.
How do you? I don't know this even matters to you, but let me ask anyway. What's your sense of how the public has viewed you as a personality over the years, and how that has changed? I mean, do you concern yourself with that? Are you conscious of how you have been viewed over the course of your career? Does it matter to you? What do you think about what people think of you, if you think about that at all?
That's kind of a deep question.
I get one every now and then.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's had some really decent questions. I just think we haven't gotten to dive deeper into the conversation surrounding those questions, past Prince's like 30, 45-second responses to each, and then the quick diversion to a new question. But overall, I do really like the questions.
I'm sort of like a, because of some of the stances that I take, people are going to have different viewpoints of me depending upon which side of the fence they're sitting on. Like we were talking about the music industry, a merchant would have trouble being called a bean counter, when in fact they know that's true. They'd be hard pressed though to try to sing a song with me. So I don't really care so much what people say about me, because it usually is a reflection of who they are. For example, if people wish I would sound like I used to sound, then it says more about them than it does me. If I change the lyrics to a song, then it begs the question, why do you want me to curse? Why do you want me to talk like other people? See, cursing was cool when nobody was doing it, or just a couple people. Yeah, like if everybody wears the same clothes,
right,
then it's, it ain't cool no more.
Right.
You're trying to be different. One can't be different by being racy today. It's not interesting anymore. See, sexiness was in the mind. It was in your imagination. When you lose that, then, like I said, it's just old skin.
Yeah. We've had a number of conversations over the years, off camera, obviously, and you are a very, very politically astute, very much politically aware, a news junkie. And I've often wondered why it is that as interested as you are in the world that we live, and with all this happening in the world, what your thoughts are specifically in this election year, economically, politically, socially. I'm asking.
So 2004, right? That's George Bush, I guess, if I'm remembering correctly.
A broad question to give you room to play with here, but tell me something about your political views in this particular and all-important election year.
Oh, first of all, I think just the word political and politics and all that is just semantics. An equal share of economic wherewithal is desirable by all. I mean, we all just want to take care of our families and do it to the best of our abilities and see the world. People want to travel and things like that. A lot of people that I know haven't even been out of the United States. So I consider myself more of a spiritual person than I do political.
Dude, me and Prince would be best friends, I swear to God.
I'm more concerned with the truth, more concerned with why people won't adhere to it and why they see themselves as us against them. I used to think that we were the ones that came up with that. But see, we didn't start a lot of these wars. We certainly don't want to go to them. Yeah.
A lot has been written, and I shouldn't even say written, but there's been a lot of conjecture, a lot of conversation in the country about your spiritual evolution of late. Curious anything about that? Your spiritual journey?
Yeah, I'd say a big change happened for me in the year 2000 because I went back to using my name again.
And thank you for that, because it's hard trying to say what that symbol was.
Yeah, well, there was a purpose for that, and
right.
Recently Anita Baker called me, and we spoke about her view of me writing slave on my face at the time. She said she didn't understand it at the time, but right after that, she had a lot of wars with her particular record company. And she's free now, and she owns her masters now. So
independent artistry.
She says to me,
that's the way to go.
You know, I didn't understand it then, but I do now. I get it. Like I said, in the year 2000, once I changed my name back and the war was finished with my so-called enemies, I started reading the Bible intensely, and I come to find out that this is the truth.
Yeah. Well, by any name, you're a bad man.
All right.
And I thank you for coming to see me. And you got to come back and do this again.
Yes, sir.
You got a lot to say. You got to come say it more regularly.
Definitely.
All right. I'm gonna hold you to that.
All right.
Nice to see you. Up next, a very special acoustic performance. We talked in this conversation about how he can play just about every instrument and plays all kinds of music, and his audience of fans appreciates a variety of music, but I've asked him to come on tonight and to do something a little different than what he normally does. I love that Grammy thing, but what you are about to hear now will blow you away, so stay tuned for a very special acoustic performance by Prince.
All right, before we hear the performance, just want to give my final thoughts on the interview itself. I really like the interviewer overall, and because it is in the context of the show, I do realize that it is kind of impossible to have the deepest dive of a conversation. Definitely, if I were in the interview chair, I would like take one of the topics that interested in me and run with it, and obviously I would have to like back and forth with Prince, make sure that he's also interested in speaking about things, and you know, all that to say, Prince is so forthcoming and all of his thoughts just make sense. I don't see any contradictions in his belief systems. The way he articulates himself, it's very clear. It comes from years of experience, and he recognizes his own evolution in all of these regards, intellectually, spiritually, and I just admire people who are just unadulterated versions of themselves. They're honest to a T, and they strive to be a better human and to spread that love of becoming a better person and treating others well. Prince is amazing. You know, my thoughts about Prince, he just keeps getting higher and higher acclaim in my mind.
To close out the show tonight, here's Prince and the very talented Wendy Melvoin performing Reflection.
2 sevens together like time indefinite.
I love that falsetto.
Try to catch the glass before it falls. Without a frown, can you turn up the stereo? I wanna play this old song. It's about love. Can I do that? Did we remember to water the plants today. I forgot to look up at the moon because I was too busy. Yes, I was too busy, looking at you. Oh, baby. Still, it's nice to know.
I love that this performance feels like a conversation that he's just having, and he's singing it so beautifully. I would be down to listen to a lot of Prince acoustics, let me tell you.
Still, it's nice to know that when bodies wear out, we can get another. What does that one thing have to do with the other one? I don't know. I was just thinking about my mother. You know what? Turn the stereo back down.
This feels like a stream of consciousness.
I love song. Do you like my hair this way? Remember all the way back in the day when we would compare whose afro was the roundest. Mirror tiles above the bed, fishing nets and posters all over the walls. Oh yeah. Sometimes I just wanna go out, you know what I mean, play my guitar. Just watch all the cars go by.
That is gorgeous.
As with any Prince appearance, there's always a little something unexpected at the end. So here's a sneak preview and a world premiere of Prince's latest music video. The song is Musicology. Enjoy.
All right, let's pause it here so we don't get any copyrights from YouTube. But wow, I enjoy these so much. I think I will love to do more reactions to, podcasts or interviews or things of that nature where we get to just hear the thoughts that come from the artist. And Prince has just such beautiful thoughts once again. And that performance, to me, it feels like a musical stream of consciousness, but it's two things. It's this beautiful music, right, played acoustically and sung beautifully, the transitions into the falsetto. There's all these like musical components we can speak about. But lyrically, it is just a song about who he is at that time. And I don't know, it just feels like it would be so almost easy to write, but in one way or the other, it's actually probably very hard to write a song like that because you have to be so authentically yourself and be vulnerable. Man, leave it to Prince to just break every rule, defy every expectation, and make us love him even more. But that's all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. Subscribe, and if you would like to request a reaction yourself, hit the link in the description box below. That's the best way to support my channel. And as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.